A snow-white fox circles an abandoned campfire. The Arctic wind rattles an empty rifle cartridge. And inside a torn walrus skin tent, Ada Blackjack, an Inuit seamstress from Nome, Alaska, tightens her frost-cracked gloves, opens her diary, and writes, "Only God and I are here." Wrangel Island has swallowed 4 explorers. Ada is the last soul alive. Ada wasn't born an adventurer. She was born Ada Delatuck in 1898, raised on seal meat and midnight sun off Alaska's Seward Peninsula. Orphaned at 8, sent to a Methodist mission school, taught English hymns, but never how to shoot a rifle. At 22, she's a single mother. Her son Bennett suffers from tuberculosis of the spine. Medical care costs money Ada doesn't have. Enter Vilhjalmur Stefansson, Arctic celebrity and salesman of impossible dreams. He seeks volunteers for a scientific colonizing expedition to claim Wrangel Island, Russia's ice-locked wildlife sanctuary, as British territory. 4 men sign on. They need a seamstress and camp cook. Stefansson promises Ada $50 a month, 5 times her sewing wage, and a hero's homecoming. She signs the contract in a shaky hand. September 1921. The tiny schooner Victoria battles 30-foot swells through the Bering Strait. Ada sews fox fur mittens while the men, Alan Crawford, Fred Maurer, Lorne Knight, and Milton Gall, dream of empire. When Wrangel's ragged coast appears, Stefansson isn't aboard. He's back in New York fundraising lectures. The party unloads crates of flour, pemmican, and a gramophone, waves the ship goodbye, and watches their lifeline disappear behind drifting pack ice. They have food for 6 months, ammunition for 1,000 shots, but no radio, no sled dogs, no evacuation plan. We'll live off polar bears and fame, Maurer jokes. Ada, shy and 5 feet tall, keeps sewing. Winter comes early. Temperatures drop to American 50 degrees Fahrenheit. The men's hunting trips return empty. Rifle bolts jam with ice, polar bears prove elusive, and fox traps freeze shut. By January, they ration biscuits, 3 per person per day. Ada stitches rabbit fur hoods by feeble seal oil lamp, while Lorne Knight's cough worsens into pneumonia. March 1922, starvation looms. Crawford, Maurer, and Gall decide to risk a 700-mile trek across floating sea ice to Siberia and summon help. They leave Ada, who cannot swim, cannot shoot, cannot navigate, with the dying Knight and a Bible. "You'll be safe," Crawford says. "A rescue ship will come this summer." It is the last time Ada sees another human for 6 months. Knight's fever spikes. Ada nurses him with snow melt tea, reads psalms aloud, sets snares she's never set before. Wolves circle the camp at 3 a.m. She fires a warning shot, her first ever, and the pack retreats. By June, Knight is skeletal, pleading for death. His last words, Ada records, are thanks for a cool drink of water. She drags his body outside the tent, too weak to bury him, and locks the flap with a hammer and ice nails so animals can't desecrate the corpse. She is alone. She kills her first seal with 1 bullet, gutting it by lantern light, reciting mission school prayers to steady her hands. She fashions a rifle sling from her own parka lining so she can hunt with frostbitten fingers. Her diary entries oscillate between terror and determination. No thinking, only work. She marks each passing week with a tiny sewn X on the tent wall. Summer thaw never fully comes. Sea ice jams the passage, blocking relief ships. In Nome, Stefansson insists everything is fine. Reporters print headlines, "Heroic Arctic colony thriving." Ada, skin blistered and hair falling out, prepares to overwinter again. She sets up driftwood tripwires around camp, sharpens a homemade spear, sings lullabies to herself to drown the wind. 28 August 1923. A ship's whistle echoes across the fog. The Donaldson, chartered by Stephenson after public outcry, anchors off Wrangel Island. First Officer Harold Noyce rows ashore expecting 4 brave colonists. He finds one diminutive woman in a resewn sealskin suit, standing beside a single grave. "Only God and I are here," she says, voice hoarse. Ada returns to Nome clutching her diary, $1,100 in back pay, and Knight's mother's Bible. Stephenson spins the press, calls Ada lazy, blames her for the men's deaths. She stays silent until reporters read her diary. Stiff, misspelled sentences that reveal resourcefulness no lecture circuit could script. Public sentiment flips. Magazines nickname her the female Crusoe. She uses her earnings to place Bennett in a San Francisco hospital where, over years, he learns to walk with crutches. Ada never sails north again. She lives quietly, sewing parkas, tending Bennett, refusing talk show invitations. When asked in 1970 if she feels heroic, she smiles. "I was hungry and afraid. God helped me. That is all." She dies at 85, the Arctic still echoing in her dreams. History remembers captains and explorers, but sometimes the seamstress is the one who keeps the flame alive. Ada Blackjack's courage wasn't planted in fame. It grew in silence, stitch by stitch, against a wind that wanted her gone. That's why her lone footprints across Wrangel Island still matter, because survival, like sewing, is a thread pulled through darkness, one careful hand at a time. If Ada's fight for life moved you, subscribe to DocuTube. Next week, we follow a ship's cat who outlived 3 torpedoes, proof that history's wildest tales aren't always told by kings. Stay curious and stay warm.